Can the Toronto Blue Jays continue their dominance over Aaron Judge and the Yankees? You'll find out tonight on MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans, and welcome into MLB Game Night, every game, every night. I am one of your hosts, JD Hafron from Locked On Cardinals. Jon Frisch, my main man, and one half, I should say, of Locked On Angels. We're here tonight to go through Major League Baseball and all the action that took place on Monday. Very strange finish in Philadelphia.
Wow.
That we'll explain to you. Yeah, it was very bizarre. The Brewers go for 11 wins in a row. Plus, Shohei Ohtani, he was back on the mound trying to get the Dodgers back in the win column, kind of straighten things out for them as they've kind of tapered off a little bit. So all of this coming up on today's show, but we're going to start in the American League East. We got the Yankees at the Blue Jays. Now, the Blue Jays are hosting the Yankees in Toronto again. Scheduling weird that they're back in Toronto already after completing the sweep of the Giants over the weekend. The Jays took first place in the AL East from those Yankees just a couple of weeks ago and have held on ever since. They've been red hot and have gone 5-2 against them so far this year. But the Bronx Bombers, they're still just 3 games back. As good as Toronto has played, the Yankees have not gone away. So 3 games back to start this 3-game set. Could New York pick up a game on their rivals? Well, we got Brian from Locked On Yankees, who has some harsh words for the team after this one.
Undisciplined, inexcusable, and if there's one thing we learned from the Yankees' Game 1 loss in Toronto, it's that they are in desperate need of a third baseman. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees, and Carlos Rodon was an absolute gamer in this game. A big game pitch from him, really battled throughout the entire start, but his defense let him down. We know they can't do anything about Anthony Volpe, and he will be the shortstop moving forward. But Peraza, they can do something, and they need to hit the trade deadline before the trade deadline gets them first. Go out there, get the player that you want, and make an aggressive trade before the rest of the league starts to make trades. That's the Yankees' option here. The Peraza experiment is over, and it's time to move on before the division gets away from them. We'll be discussing all that and much more on Locked On Yankees throughout the week.
The Yankees were actually up in this one 1-0 in the 4th inning. Giancarlo Stanton, I still call him Mike because that's what I can do. Hit a home run, his 5th of the season, but it wouldn't last. The Jays scored 4 in the 5th thanks to 3 hits and 2 throwing errors, as Brian mentioned. With the win, Toronto moves to 4 games up on the Yankees in the AL East and have won now a franchise record 11 straight home games, which is crazy. John, you heard Brian talk about getting a jump on the other teams when to deals at the trade deadline. The problem here is the Yankees don't hold the power in this situation. The other teams, the guys that have the players that the Yankees might want or need, like, say, an Eugenio Suarez, who is highly coveted by a lot of people. He's still in Arizona. Arizona doesn't know if they even want to sell yet. They're at the mercy of these teams and what their clock says, not what the Yankees need. Am I right when I explain it that way? Because it seems to make sense in my head.
Yeah, it's going to come down to the wire, and it's not going to be on Yankee time. It's going to be on whoever they're trading's with time because, again, like the Diamondbacks, I know they lost tonight. We'll talk about that game, but they're at 500. And so you don't know if they're going to sell. You don't know if they're going to buy. And so they have the assets to sell, like Suarez. And, of course, he's the most coveted third baseman in baseball right now. But the truth is the Yankees, like you said, they don't hold the power. It does remind me of the fact that, for years it was, who did they want to trade? Miguel Andujar and Clint Frazier for everybody that they ever wanted on their team. That was the meme. Yeah. It's still a meme, and I think Clint Frazier even still laughs about it. But the truth is it's going to come down to the wire, and it's going to come down to the best offer. And it makes you wonder, do the Yankees have the minor league assets to get a deal like that done? Or are they going to settle for somebody like Yohan Moncada from the Angels? I'm just saying, when he's healthy, he's been good, and he's on a 1-year deal. So, yeah, you might see them have to hold out until the very end there.
Yeah, and like you said, there's other teams that are going to be competing. So let's say Arizona picks up the phone and is like, all right, everybody bring in your offers. They're not going to just jump.
You give me your third baseman.
Yeah, just because you're the Yankees, they're not going to do that. So, I like that Brian wants to be aggressive about it because he's sick of seeing it, even though we all knew third base was a problem for the Yankees, which is why we talked in the offseason like, hey, maybe a Nolan Arenado or somebody like that should be somebody they're chasing. And they're like, no, we're fine. DJ LeMahieu, the ghost of DJ LeMahieu is going to be fine.
Is Arenado somebody? Is Arenado somebody the Cards would deal?
Well, they would love to move on from that contract. The problem is he has a no trade clause, so he can put the kibosh on any deal, which is what he did. Why he's not a Houston Astro right now?
But he can join Goldie. You saw what they did for Matt Carpenter's career. Like, come on, let's go.
People are there. Go have fun with them. They got money. They don't care. But I don't know. I don't know if Arenado's going to want to move actually in the middle of the season. The sense I get about Nolan Arenado is he's somebody that would want to plan this out and do it during the off season rather than make an abrupt move during the middle of the season. So, but we'll see. Because we don't even know. So like you said, Suarez, we don't even know if he's going to be available. The Diamondbacks might want to keep him. He has said that he doesn't really want to go anywhere. He's pretty darn happy in Arizona. So we'll have to wait and see. Deadline coming up here very, very soon. Let's move on to the Tigers at the Pirates. Tigers snapped their 6-game skid behind Tarek Skubal's dominance on Sunday Night Baseball, although he did not get the victory in that game. But they had the tough task of facing another ace in Paul Skeens of the Pirates in Pittsburgh. We got Gary from Locked on Pirates with the results for Skeens at PNC Park on Monday.
Pirates win this one 3-0, beating the Detroit Tigers, who have been struggling, but so have the Pirates. So I'll take it. Hey, this is Gary from Locked on Pirates. Paul Skeens goes 6 scoreless today. Really beautiful, dominant performance from Paul Skeens. Pirates got some early offense from key contributors. Spencer Horwitz, 3 hits tonight, and Brian Reynolds drove in 2. They got 3 runs and sat on them the rest of the game, but the pitching held up. Braxton Ashcraft, Dennis Santana, and David Bednar finished it out. Feel good victory today. It's hard to get too up after what we just watched, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. It feels good to get a win for Paul Skeens, too. That's good stuff. He definitely has earned way more than he's gotten this year, so that's a positive step. Johan Oviedo was spotted in the dugout today. I guess he threw a bullpen at PNC Park. A lot of murmuring that he might be getting called up. It looks to me like he's going to have 1 or 2 more rehab starts. And then I do think we're looking at Johan Oviedo getting back to the big leagues in some capacity. They say they're stretching him out to be a starter, but we could see him as a reliever too. It's been a long time since he's had that surgery right after 2023. More on this tomorrow morning on Locked On Pirates.
Whoa, Johan Oviedo love right there, former Cardinal legend who got traded for Jose Quintana, if memory serves. Paul Skeens, though, speaking of pitching, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 6 Ks, lowers his ERA to 1.91, which leads the league. He's 5th in the NL in strikeouts, 2nd in the NL in whip at 0.91. He's ridiculous. John, even though he's 5-8, is Paul Skeens your favorite for the NL Cy Young Award, or is there somebody else you would choose?
The only person I could think of is probably Yamamoto with the Dodgers, because I know he's had a couple of rough outings recently, but the fact is he's been so good all season long, and he's got the advantage of being on the Dodgers, who have a winning record. And so I'm not somebody who looks at wins and losses to determine how good a pitcher is or a player is, but the fact is, some of these writers do, some of these award givers do. So if I was making that decision, it certainly wouldn't be a factor for me, and I think that he would be in the running. That ERA is real nice to look at, JD, 1.91. I think if he keeps that up, he's going to be in the conversation for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like it's you mentioned Yamamoto. I also think Zach Wheeler is a guy with Philadelphia that is right there with them as well. Also on a very good team. So it's going to be interesting, but we'll see if they care so much because what was it? King Felix a few years back. Oh, yeah. He had a losing record, I believe, and won the Cy Young Award. So it can happen. It can happen for a starter when they're that good. On the flip side, the Tigers have finally hit a rough patch in their season. Everything had been going so swimmingly for them throughout the year. They're still up 10 games in the division, but what is your level of concern with them right now.
You just said it. They finally hit a rough patch this season. It's the first time they've hit a rough patch all season. And so everybody goes through it. It's going to happen to every team. They get snake bitten here and there and everywhere. And look, they ran into Skeens today. It was a shutout, and that's the way it goes. And the Pirates pitching is not terrible. And they've got Mitch Keller going, I believe, tomorrow night. And so it might be another struggle for them. But at the end of the day, you ran into a certified ace and, like we've been saying, a Cy Young contender. So I know it's been tough for the Tigers, but it's their first rough patch of the season. I think they're going to be fine.
Huge matchup in Philly tonight with the Red Sox in town, but a crazy ending that if you haven't heard about it, you won't believe it when we tell you. It's coming up next on MLB Game Night. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights or golf on the green or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. I know you are. So why not make it even more thrilling? What's the harm in that? With FanDuel, you can actually get in on the game while your friends are out doing whatever the heck they're doing to waste time this summer. I personally have been using FanDuel for many, many years now. I love using them for NFL season. It's my favorite time to be on the FanDuel app. I can track my favorite matchups and teams, and the app, it keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet, so it never feels like I'm just kind of going through the motions, doing the same old thing over and over, because that's not good. It's super easy to use if you haven't jumped on the app yet. It's fast. When you win, the payout comes right to you very quickly, and it makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. So if you're new to FanDuel, new customers, good news here, can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. So open the FanDuel app today, or you can visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. MLB Game Night rolls on. We head to Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. Red Sox are in town there. Phillies had a disappointing weekend. They dropped 2 of 3 to John's Angels, who was not disappointed about the weekend. He thought it went quite well. While the Red Sox rolled into the All-Star break, having won 10 in a row. 10 in a row for Boston, but saw that win streak snapped by the Cubs and were only able to pick up 1 win over the weekend. So which team could start the week out on the right foot? I don't think anybody had this ending on their bingo card, John, unless you are an incredible foreseer of the future, because this was nuts. Here's Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies and his reaction to this stunning ending in Philly.
I mean, did that really just happen? Did the Philadelphia Phillies just win on a walk-off catcher's interference in extra innings? Yeah, they did. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies, and sometimes when the offense isn't rolling, you just need something like that. I don't know that we've ever seen anything like that, but Edmundo Sosa hits the catcher's glove with the bases loaded for the walk-off winner. Bryce Harper had a couple of doubles in the game. Zach Wheeler did not have his best stuff and still got the job done. And let me tell you something. Max Lazar was in a big spot in the top of the 10th inning. He was pretty darn good. Are we going to have the is Max Lazar a guy conversation for this bullpen? We might have to. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm thinking about it. And I'm also thinking about the weird, wacky rules of baseball. We're going to talk all about it on tomorrow's episode of Locked On Phillies.
I mean, what?
If I can do that, if I can win a game like that, I'm swinging my bat at the catcher's mitt. I don't care what. I'm standing in the back of the box. I'm taking the widest swing I've ever taken in my life. Like, all right, if them's the breaks, baby, then them's the rules, I guess.
I mean, it wasn't a short swing by any means when he did it, but there have actually, I did a little research, only 2 game-ending catcher's interference calls in MLB history. Tonight was the second one. The first one occurred August 1st, 1971, between the Dodgers and the Reds. Wow. That's it. That's the only times this has ever happened. So just a nutty ending. Zach Wheeler, as we mentioned earlier, an El Cy Young candidate. Excellent again. He fires 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 hits, 10 Ks, not part of the decision. Not to be outdone, Boston's Walker Buehler goes 7 innings, 2 runs, 1 earned, 6 hits, 4 Ks. He wasn't around for this inning either. John, is this the lamest walk-off win you've ever seen? Maybe a balk-off win could be worse, but this one's got to be up there, right?
It's if I'm a Red Sox fan, this is the worst ending I've ever seen. Absolutely. I would hate to be on the other side of that, watch my team lose in a situation because my catcher stuck his glove out too far. Yes, in terms of, the dumbest way to win a game, it's a W in the win column. And like Connor said, sometimes you just need a game like that if the offense isn't going to get it going. And, like I said, them's the breaks, baby. So chalk one up for the Phillies and put one in the win column, because at the end of the day, when you look at, their win-loss record on Baseball Reference, you're not going to know. You're not going to see that catcher's interference walk off. You're just going to see a big W, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Padres at the Marlins. Padres moved from one young and hungry team to another one as they took 2 of 3 from the Nationals over the weekend. They faced the Marlins in a 3-game set. Meanwhile, the Marlins took 2 of 3 from the Kansas City Royals. Kyle Stowers, the all-star, hit a walk-off home run last Friday, had one of the top young fireballers in the league on the mound in Yuri Perez tonight. And it was the Padres picking up the pitcher's duel win. Final score of this one, Padres 2, Marlins 1. Both Padres runs came in the second inning on an RBI single by Jackson Merrill, followed by an RBI double by Martin Maldonado. And that was it. That's all they needed. Padres used 5 different pitchers who combined to give up just 1 run on 9 hits, highlighted by their all-star trio of relievers. Adrian Morjon was credited with the win. He got it's his 8th of the season. Jason Adams got a hold, and then Robert Suarez with his league-leading 29th save. Yuri Perez was good. 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 5 Ks, but falls to 3-3 on the season. John, Padres are in the wild card spot, but are now just a few games back of the Dodgers, because the Dodgers have been scuffling a little bit. If you're the Padres GM, put your mind in his head right now. What are you looking for at the deadline to try to catch him?
I think they need to add a bat, because they are getting Michael King. He's supposed to be back in the rotation next month. And so that's kind of like trading for a starting pitcher. I know Dylan Cease has not been, the Dylan Cease that they've expected and when they traded for him. So I'd upgrade at DH, someone who could play the outfield. I think maybe if the Angels are selling, Taylor Ward would be an interesting one, because he just got his 76th RBI of the season. And so to add an impact bat, the average isn't great, but the OPS is really great. And he's driven in so many runs. So I could see them doing that. I've seen Padres fans kind of clamoring for that as well. When I asked a Padres fan what they would trade, they kind of, threw this middle relief minor league guy. And I thought, no. You're getting him for a year and a half, and he's going to help you get to the playoffs. So that's a route that they could go. But as far as pitching, the bullpen is great. The starting rotation is fine. And when you add Michael King to that, I think you're really going to go some places for the Padres.
Orioles at the Guardians. Guardians return to their winning ways before the All-Star break. They kept it going over the weekend against the A's. They host the Orioles, who sit 10 games under 500 entering Monday and look like sellers at the deadline. You've said this before. It should be written in stone in Cleveland. As J-Ram goes, the Guardians go, right? Well, he had another solid game, and we got Justin from Locked On Guardians to tell us how it all went down in Cleveland.
4 words I didn't think I'd get to say again this season. Can't stop the Guards' offense. And yet here we are, saying them. This is Justin Latta from Locked On Guardians. The Guardians have now put out runs this second half. 8, and now 10 over 4 games. And they had a 2 spot in there at one point too. But this Guardians offense stays hot. And it was an important offensive game for the Guardians on Monday, because Tanner Bybee got jumped for 3 runs in the first inning with some bleeders and some BABIP bad luck. And then an error forced him to face an extra batter later in the game, and he gave up a home run after that. 2 unearned runs there. Other than that, he was good. The Guardians punched back, though, 3-run homer from Jose Ramirez, and then it took them a while to come back in this one. They had the bases loaded with nobody out, with Angel Martinez, Jose Ramirez, and Kyle Manzardo, and they didn't hit a ball out of the infield. They didn't cash in. And actually, they were terrible with runners in scoring position tonight. 3 for 20. They hit 3 home runs. That was huge. They kept adding on late. They had some walks. They did a good job. I know Sagano hasn't been a great pitcher this year, but he dominated the Guardians early in the year. This is a team that punched back all night and kept chipping away. That's what you love to see. They have now won 9 of their last 11. Anything's possible in baseball. I know I said a month ago that this team was dead and buried. And here we are. I didn't think I'd say these words again. Tune in to Locked On Guardians. We continue to try to unlock the mystery of where the Guardians are going in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, strange stats, as he said. 3 for 20 with runners in scoring position. They left 15 men on base, but win 10-5. I don't know how to explain it, but it happened. Reds at the Nationals.
Can you do that? Are you allowed to do that?
Apparently, it's legal. You can do that. Reds at Nationals. The Reds beat the NDC, taking on Washington, who has been a pretty big disappointment this year. There's really no nice way to say it. The Reds are firmly in the mix for the NL wildcard spot. They're 2 games back entering Monday. Nationals searching for just their 40th win of the season. And if you like offense, you probably enjoyed this game. We got Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals with the scoop.
The Scrappy Nats, they came to play. I'm Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals, and the Nationals get the win in today's ball game, 10-8. It tried to make it a little bit closer at the end with Kyle Finnegan. Well, let's talk about the young guys because that's what propelled the Nationals to victory. Early on in the game, first inning for James Wood, his 21st double of this season, and also a 3-hit night for Brady House. And what about Dalen Lyle? A bases clearing triple, the second triple of the year. Dalen Lyle and Brady House have quietly strung together some really good at-bats as of late. They are not just these young prospects. They are building blocks for the Nationals' future. And also, by the way, let's talk about Josh Bell. He is batting over 300 in his last 42 games. Talk about a trade deadline that will be interesting. Well, we'll have that covered right here on Locked On Nationals after the Nationals get the win.
All right, Clary, feeling good about things right now. Jeff Carr not feeling so great about things. He's the host of Locked On Reds. Not great numbers regarding the pitching staff. Here they are.
That is the exact way that we didn't want. And quite frankly, the exact way we were worried and we kind of thought would happen. But the way that the Reds began that series with the Washington Nationals was absolutely horrible. And it's all in the pitching staff. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. Yes, the strength of the team for much of this season absolutely failed them against the Washington Nationals again. Fun fact, the Cincinnati Reds have allowed 25 runs in 4 games to the Washington Nationals. They've also allowed 25, and that's earned runs. There's a couple of unearned runs, but they've also allowed 25 earned runs to the St. Louis Cardinals in 7 games. For some reason, they just stopped pitching when they faced the Nationals. Brady Singer, horrible. Graham Ashcraft, horrible. Lyon Richardson, horrible. Reds really need a big bounce-back game in a bad way. A couple of games. They can't lose the series. It's just... oh, what a mess.
Well, there you have it. I don't know what else to say about it. Poor Jeff is just... he's stressed, man. He's stressed about it. You know, the Reds got a nice thing going, to be honest with you. Like, if they ever fully get healthy, remember, they're still without Hunter Green, right, who's the best pitcher on their roster. So they get him back. Maybe they make a couple of moves to pick up some bullpen pieces. The real question, I think, for Cincinnati is, you know, how aggressive are they going to be at the deadline to get those pieces? Because everybody is looking for bullpen, and they're going to have to compete with some of these guys, and they haven't really been a team, at least to my knowledge, that has been somebody willing to outbid a lot of these bigger market teams who just have more resources. So just something to keep an eye out when it comes to them. But, you know, the NL Central continues to surprise people. Crazy. Are the Milwaukee Brewers the best team in baseball now? They went for 11 wins in a row on Monday in Seattle. We'll talk about it next on MLB Game Night. Today's show being brought to you by OpenPhone. If you're running a business, you know that every missed call is basically money left on the table. It's a big no-no. Think about the last time you had a service emergency, maybe you know, something with the plumbing in your house. If the first plumber didn't pick up the phone, did you just stop and go, all right, that's it? No, you would move on and call the next person available. And that's why having a reliable business line, it's so important. And that's why you need OpenPhone. OpenPhone is the #1 business phone system that's going to help you streamline and scale customer communication. And you do it all from an app on your phone or computer. If you've ever had to juggle 2 phone lines before to keep business and personal calls separated, OpenPhone will solve that problem for you instantly. Your whole team can share one number and respond to customers like a shared inbox. And they've got AI agents that will handle your after hours calls and answer the common questions and capture leads for you so you never miss a customer again. OpenPhone is offering MLB Game Night listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/lockedonmlb. That's openphone.com/lockedonmlb. And if you have an existing number with another service, OpenPhone will port them over and do that at no extra charge. So OpenPhone, no missed calls, no missed customers. The Milwaukee Brewers in Seattle, Pacific Northwest, after rolling through LA, sweeping the Dodgers. Who saw that coming? Not a lot of people. There was a great pitching matchup in store. You had Brandon Woodruff making his 3rd start after coming off the IL. George Kirby for Seattle. Would the Brewers be able to win their 11th game in a row? Let's check in with Chuck from Locked On Brewers on if the Brew Crew could get it done.
Yeah, maybe it looked a little dicey early when the Brewers couldn't get a hit, but those tables turned quickly. Hey, everybody, Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Brewers were no hit through the first 5 innings by Seattle starter George Kirby, and then Joey Ortiz lit off the 6th inning with a base hit, and then the hits kept on coming. And then later on, the Mariners started throwing the ball around and getting lazy out there and not holding a runner on second base, and Brewers tacked on a few more runs. You get lazy, you make mistakes against the Milwaukee Brewers, they make you pay. Yeah, they're not hitting home runs all over the place, but they're nickel and diamond teams to their 11th straight victory. One more, and the hamburgers start flowing in the state of Wisconsin. 12 in a row by George Webbs. We'll talk about everything that happened in this game and look ahead to possibly a 12th straight victory. The runs keep coming, the hits keep coming, and so do the wins with this Milwaukee Brewers team. We'll talk about it a little bit later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Free burgers, John? Excuse me?
Free burgers. Listen, the last time Chuck brought that up was when the Brewers had an 8-game win streak going, and you and I didn't believe it. We were like, 12 wins? Come on, George Webbs. Well, the truth is, it's possible. They can do it tomorrow night. They got Mizorowski going against Logan Gilbert, and I did a little research.
Okay.
The Brewers actually did it on April 19th, 1987. George Webb served up 168,194 free hamburgers. And then they did it again in October of 2018 because the Brewers won 12 straight playoff games, and they gave away about 90,000 free burgers. So I think the free burgers are on the way, JD. I'm going to Wisconsin. Let's go.
I'm down with that. Obviously, they're going to be cheeseburgers if we're going to Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
We got to go to Chicago now. Royals at the Cubs. Cubs were caught by the Brewers in the NL Central with both teams sitting at 59-40 entering Monday, while the Royals try to bounce back from a series loss to the Marlins over the weekend. And the Cubs would have to go without PCA. Pete Crow Armstrong was injured and unable to play in this one. Were they able to get it done? We'll talk to Sam Olber of Locked On Cubs right now on how the Royals look like a different team against the Cubs pitching.
Well, that did not go well at all. I'm Sam Olber from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and the 27 Yankees, the Kansas City Royals came into Wrigley Field and just had one of their better offensive days of the season against the Cubs in a blowout victory. The Cubs tried to use Ben Brown as a bulk guy today in a bullpen day. It didn't work. He gave up 7 runs, 6 earned in 4 innings. There was a little bit of bad luck in there, but it just, it's about results right now for the Cubs. When you're in a pennant race, in a division race, it's about results. And he didn't get results. Flexen didn't get results. You can't keep doing these bullpen days every 5th day. They need a pitcher. They got to go acquire one if they can't get one internally. It just wasn't good enough. The offense wasn't great either outside of a Matt Shaw 3-run homer, but to give up that many runs against one of the more light-hitting teams in all baseball in the Kansas City Royals is unacceptable. And as I'm recording this, it's still pending, but factually right now, for the first time Since April 4th, the Chicago Cubs are not in first place.
Yep. They're not. The Brewers, the Brewers have caught them. I mean, you win 11 in a row, that's going to happen unless the other team is able to keep pace, which has not happened. Feel real bad for the Cubs.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're all broken up about that, aren't you, JD?
I just think it's a fun race going on in the Central that has nothing to do with my Cardinals. It's all Brewers, Cubs, and the Reds are still hanging around there. So I just like this, because every season NL Central sucks, they're not good enough. And then it seems like every season they almost have 3 people in the playoff hunt. So I find it to be exciting. So enjoy that. Speaking of exciting, your Angels in New York to take on the Mets. John, what happened tonight?
Oh, my gosh. Sometimes you got to quit while you're ahead, JD. The Mets took this one 7-5 over the Angels after the Angels were up 4-0. And Tyler Anderson came back out for the 7th inning. Should have been able to get the 8 and 9 hitters out on the Mets side. Did not do that. Reed Detmers came in with runners on first and third. Juan Soto broke it open with a 2-run single. Then there was a bad throw from Yoan Moncada, future Yankees third baseman, to home plate. That allowed a run to score. And, the Mets, productive outs, moving runners over, taking advantage of bad defense. That's how they won this one. A lot like the Brewers, dinking and ducking and just putting the ball in play. That's what the Mets did here. And then, I said the Angels should quit while they're ahead. Well, they definitely quit while they were behind because they took 3 strikeouts from Edwin Diaz, who closed it out. The bright side for Angels fans, I mentioned it, Taylor Ward got a career-high 76 RBI. He had a 3 RBI day. And he's got a year and a half on that contract. The Angels only really like to sell guys that are expiring at the end of the season. So, like I said, come on, Padres, the Angels, let's make a move here. Let's get it done. But the Mets take it 7-5 over the Angels to start this series.
Astros at the Diamondbacks. Stros maintain a 4-game lead in the AL West, but they've dropped 7 of their last 10. Could the Diamondbacks cut through the noise, or would the Astros take a win in the desert over the red-hot Eugenio Suarez and the Diamondbacks? Astros end up hanging on to win this one by a score of 6-3. Suarez did hit a home run in this one. He continues to roll on, but the Diamondbacks end up falling in this one. You're pretty impressed with what the Astros have been able to do despite all the injuries.
Yeah, how about Bryce Matthews, the second baseman for the Astros, in just his 5th major league game? He accounts for 5 of the 6 runs for the Astros. And where do the Astros keep finding these guys? No Isaac Paredes at third base? No worries. We got Mauricio Dubon. No Yordan Alvarez at DH. That's fine. We got Victor Carantini having the best season of his life. No Jeremy Pena. That's okay. We'll bring up this Zach Short that we signed over the offseason for depth. And then, Altuve's DH, and so Bryce Matthews can play second. There you go. 5 RBI night, a 3-run home run and a 2-run home run. The Astros they keep pulling these guys out of the ground, and they keep on winning, JD.
That's what you might want to cover your ears. It's what good franchises do.
Yep,
they're able to do those type of things. 2 franchises not doing so well this year. My Cardinals and the Colorado Rockies. Cardinals got swept by Arizona this past weekend. The Rockies actually won 2 of 3 against Minnesota at Coors Field. First home series win of the season. Paul Holden from Locked On Rockies let me in on that little nugget. I was like, what? And he's like, wow. Yeah. It has not been the home cooking type of thing that they are used to. It did not continue tonight, though, as the Cardinals take this one by a score of 6-2. Michael McGreevy got the start for the Cardinals. 7 innings, allows just 2 runs on 7 hits to get his 2nd win of the year. The guy needs to be in the Cardinals rotation moving forward. It's silly that he hasn't been able to stay up at the major league level because of guys like Eric Fetty and Miles Michaelis having to hold down their spots. It's dumb. Giants at the Braves. Giants lost before the All-Star break. They lost after the All-Star break. Meanwhile, the Braves have a lot of questions to answer, including how they're going to handle this year's trade deadline. Giants end up losing this one to the Braves by a score of 9-5. Drake Baldwin, somebody you're interested fantasy-wise there,
yeah.
John?
I'm going to go pick up Drake Baldwin right now because he had a huge night, a 2-double night for him, clearing the bases with 1 double, driving in Acuna with the other, and then a 2-run single. This one, the Braves took it 9-5. A little Dolly Parton there for you. Good job, Braves.
What a great song, by the way. If you like karaoke, you can do that one. Do it.
Song.
People will go nuts at the bar, I promise you. White Sox at the Rays. Tampa Bay Rays been stumbling a little bit into the All-Star break after that hot June that saw them get back into the race in the AL East. Meanwhile, the White Sox they're winning ball games all of a sudden. They take this one by a score of 8-3 after sweeping the Pirates over the weekend and winning this one in Tampa. They've now won 4 in a row for the first time since May 8th through the 11th back in 2024. So good news for you White Sox fans out there who are still watching the ball games. Meanwhile, the Rays continue to scuffle as the deadline approaches, just 3-7 in their last 10, but they're still in a game and a half of the wild card. A's and Rangers. What went down here, John?
Yeah, the Rangers got to 500 over the weekend, trying to make it, over 500 for the first time in a while. And they do it against the A's. They hosted the Athletics in Texas, 7-2 victory. They got it done as Michael Hellman, former Cardinals legend, JD.
Oh,
he
yeah,
had a 4 RBI day, and Josh Young homered in his return to the bigs. Nick Kurtz for the A's was the American League Player of the Week. He continues his good stretch. He hit his 19th home run of the season. He's got the most home runs of any rookie in baseball right now.
Twins at the Dodgers to wrap things up. Dodgers take this one by a score of 5-2. Shohei Ohtani got the start, 3 innings, 1 run, 3 Ks, gave up a home run to Byron Buxton on the second pitch of the night. And normally a pitcher can't make up for any mistakes he's made. Not Shohei. You know what he does? Hits 2-run homer in the bottom of the first and gets the lead back to LA. Will Smith hits 2 dingers in this one. Andy Pajes also hit a home run. Carlos Correa came a foot shy of hitting a game-tying home run in the 9th inning. Tanner Scott did have to leave the game for the Dodgers with an apparent injury, but Dodgers end up winning this one by a score of 5-2. Thank you for joining us for this episode of MLB Game Night. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you guys will come back and visit us next time. MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.